The elevator doors slid open on the 42nd floor of the Manhattan high-rise, and there he was, Brandon, my boss, drenched from the freak downpour outside, his tailored suit clinging like a second skin, eyes wild with the kind of panic that makes a man look both unbreakable and utterly human. "Michael, get in here before you drown too," he barked, his voice cracking just enough to betray the fear he never admitted, yanking me inside as thunder rattled the glass walls. In that split second, as our shoulders brushed and the doors sealed us in the dim, humming box hurtling upward, I realized with a gut-wrenching clarity that loving him had always been a storm waiting to break, and tonight finally had. We'd been in New York for the quarterly pitch meetings, the kind where egos clash like cymbals and deals are sealed over overpriced scotch. Brandon Hayes, the wunderkind CEO of Apex Strategies, had handpicked me, Michael Ellis, the quiet analyst from the Chicago office, for this trip. At 28, I was the youngest on the team, the one who crunched numbers until they bled stories, the one who saw patterns in chaos. But patterns didn't prepare you for him. Brandon was 35, all sharp angles and sharper wit, with that effortless charisma that turned boardrooms into his personal stage. He had a laugh like summer thunder, deep, rolling, impossible to ignore, and eyes the color of aged whiskey, the kind that lingered a beat too long on you during late-night strategy sessions. I'd fallen for him slowly, stupidly, over 2 years of stolen glances across conference tables and emails that started professional but ended with a warmth I convinced myself wasn't imagined. He was straight, or so the office rumors went. Married once, divorced quietly, now a string of models and executives on his arm, always at galas, never in the break room. But there were moments. The way he'd clap my shoulder after a killer presentation, fingers pressing just a fraction too firm. The late coffee runs where he'd ask about my life, really listen, like I wasn't just another cog. Hope is a thief, I told myself. It sneaks in and robs you blind. Yet here I was, on a red-eye from O'Hare, heart pounding as we landed in LaGuardia under skies that looked like bruised fists. The meetings had gone flawlessly. Our pitch for the Hudson Valley redevelopment project landed the client like a fish on a line. Brandon had been electric, pacing the conference room in his navy suit, sleeves cuffed to his elbows, revealing forearms corded from weekend hikes in the Adirondacks. "Michael, your projections sealed it," he'd said afterward, in the elevator down, his hand on my elbow steering me through the crowd. Simple touch, but it burned. We celebrated at a rooftop bar in Midtown, the city sprawling below like a glittering promise. Toasts clinked, laughter echoed off the skyline, and for a moment, under the string lights, I let myself pretend we were just two guys, unwinding after a win. Then the storm hit. Not the metaphorical kind, the real one, a nor'easter barreling up the coast, dumping sheets of rain that turned streets into rivers. Sirens wailed as taxis stalled, subways flooded. Our flight home was canceled, the hotel overbooked with stranded execs. "Screw it," Brandon said, slamming his phone down on the bar top, water pooling from his soaked hair. "We're walking. My place is just a few blocks, penthouse in the Village. Beats sleeping in the lobby. His place." The words hung there, casual as a weather report, but my pulse thrummed like a war drum. I nodded, throat dry, and we plunged into the deluge. The walk was a blur of wind-whipped umbrellas and honking horns, our shoes splashing through puddles that reflected neon signs in fractured rainbows. By the time we reached his building, A sleek pre-war brownstone with a doorman who nodded like we were royalty. We were soaked to the bone. The lobby was a sanctuary of polished marble and low jazz from hidden speakers. The elevator ride up was silent, charged, the kind where you feel the air thicken. And then, those doors opened, and the world narrowed to him, standing there like a shipwreck survivor, offering me salvation or ruin. He flicked on the lights, revealing a space that screamed old New York money. Exposed brick walls lined with first-edition Hemingways, a leather sectional facing floor-to-ceiling windows that framed the tempest outside. Rain lashed the glass like frantic fingers. "Towels are in the hall closet," he muttered, peeling off his jacket, the white shirt beneath translucent against his skin. I averted my eyes, busying myself with the linen, but not before the image seared in, a map of muscle and quiet strength. The man I diagrammed in spreadsheets now raw and real. We showered separately, the hot water a brief mercy, emerging in borrowed sweats that hung loose on my frame but fit him like they were made for sin. He poured scotch, neat, no ice, and we sank onto the couch, the storm our only audience. "To surviving hurricanes," he toasted, clinking glasses, his knee brushing mine. "Accidental? Intentional?" Hope whispered the latter. We talked shop at first, the client's quirks, the next quarter's forecasts, but the whiskey loosened tongues, and soon it was stories. His rough-and-tumble upbringing in rural Pennsylvania, trading coal dust for corner offices. My own path from a small-town Indiana library to the glass towers of ambition. "You're different, Michael," he said suddenly, leaning back, glass dangling from his fingers. The city lights flickered through the rain, casting shadows across his face. "Most guys in your spot chase the ladder. You build it, rung by rung. Steady. Real." His gaze held mine, and there it was, that linger, pulling me under. My heart hammered. "Say it," I thought. "Say something stupid, like how you've built rungs in me too." But I just smiled, murmured thanks, and the moment crested, then crashed. The power flickered, then died. Darkness swallowed the room, broken only by lightning's white-hot veins. "Generators in the basement," he said, standing. "Stay put." But I followed, flashlight from his phone cutting the gloom. Down the emergency stairs, voices echoed from lower floors, neighbors cursing the outage. We reached the mechanical room, a humid cave of humming machines, and flipped the switch. Nothing. "Damn thing," he growled, kicking a panel. In the stutter of his light, I saw frustration etch his features, the unbreakable man cracking. Then, a spark, literal, from a loose wire, and the room erupted in smoke. Alarms shrieked. We bolted upward, coughing, the stairwell a black maw. On the 20th floor landing, panic seized him. He stumbled, gripping the rail, breath ragged. "Brandon!" I caught his arm, steadying him. Our faces inches apart, rain-scented air between us. "I'm here." His eyes met mine, wild, searching. For a heartbeat, the world held, his hand on my chest, my pulse betraying me. Then he pulled away, straightening. "Let's go." Back in the penthouse, candles guttered on the coffee table, casting golden pools. The storm raged on, trapping us in this velvet limbo. We sat closer now, shoulders touching, sharing the last of the scotch. Stories turned personal. His divorce, the ache of empty promises. My coming out at 19, the small-town whispers that followed. "It gets better," I said softly. "Or so they say." He turned, face illuminated, and whispered, "Does it? For guys like us." The word hung, electric. My breath caught. Was this the hook, the line, the sinker? But dawn crept in gray and unforgiving, the storm unrelenting. Our phones buzzed, flights still grounded, meetings postponed. Trapped? Yes, but in what? As he dozed on the couch, head lolled toward me, I traced the lines of his jaw with my eyes. Hope, that dangerous thief, had me in its grip. Little did I know, it was just the beginning of the heist. Morning brought no relief. The skies hung low and leaden, rain a relentless tattoo against the windows. Brandon stirred around 9, rubbing sleep from his eyes. The borrowed tea rumpled across his chest. "Coffee?" he mumbled, padding to the kitchen like it was the most natural thing. I watched him from the couch, the domesticity of it all a cruel tease. His place smelled of fresh brew and faint cologne, a world away from my cramped Wicker Park apartment with its leaky faucets and neighbors' endless true crime podcasts. We spent the day in a haze of improvised normalcy. He fired up the gas stove, power be damned, and whipped up eggs and toast from the fridge's dwindling stock. "Farm fresh from the market yesterday," he said, plating it with a flourish. We ate at the island, knees bumping under the marble, talking everything and nothing. The Mets' slim playoff chances, that new Scorsese flick neither of us had seen. Laughter came easy, unguarded, the kind that bubbles up when walls dissolve. For the first time, I saw beyond the boss, the man who quoted Springsteen lyrics in traffic jams, who kept a dog-eared copy of The Great Gatsby on his nightstand, dog-eared at the green light page. Afternoon dragged us to the balcony, a narrow ledge overlooking Washington Square Park, where umbrellas dotted the green like defiant flowers. The air was thick, charged with ozone. "Remember your first storm in the city?" he asked, leaning on the railing, wind tousling his hair. I nodded, recounting the '08 blizzard that buried Chicago, how I'd holed up with a bottle of cheap Merlot and dreams of escape. "New York's my escape," he said, voice low. "From the small towns that choke you. From expectations." His fingers drummed the rail, a tell I'd learned to read, unease bubbling under the surface. We retreated inside as thunder grumbled anew. The conversation shifted, inevitably, to work but not the safe kind. "Why'd you pick me for this trip?" I asked, bold on black coffee. He paused, swirling his mug, eyes distant. "Because you're good, Michael. Damn good. And honest. In a world of sharks, you're the one who doesn't bite." Honesty. The word twisted in me. If only he knew the half-truths I'd spun around my feelings, the nights I'd replayed his voice memos like love letters. By evening, cabin fever set in. He suggested cards, poker, strip optional, but said with a wink that could mean anything. We played for matchsticks, trash-talking over folds and bluffs. His competitive streak emerged, all boyish grins and mock outrage when I cleaned him out. "You're a shark after all," he laughed, tossing his hand. In the candlelight, his face softened, barriers thinning. "Truth or dare?" he proposed suddenly, the game pivoting on a dime. My stomach flipped. "Truth. What's the one thing you'd change about your life, right now?" His gaze pinned me. I swallowed, the room shrinking. I'd stop waiting for permission to want what I want. The words escaped. Raw. His brow furrowed, but he nodded. Slow. Dare, I countered, heart in my throat. Tell me something no one's heard. He leaned in, elbows on knees, voice a rumble. I miss being seen. Not the CEO me. The kid who wanted to build things, not just buy them. Vulnerability cracked open. The air hummed. Night fell heavy, the storm a symphony of howls. We moved to the couch, a documentary flickering on his laptop battery. Something about lost Antarctic expeditions, men clinging to hope in the white void. His head found my shoulder midway, casual as breathing, but my body tensed, alive with the weight of it. This okay? He murmured, not moving. Yeah, I whispered, arm draping tentative across his back. We stayed like that, the screen's glow painting us in blues and grays, the world outside forgotten. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with lightning and his breath on my neck. I woke to him stirring, dawn's pale light filtering through clouds. Morning, he said, voice husky, stretching with a yawn that bared the line of his throat. Breakfast was quiet, charged, eggs burned this time, laughter covering the awkwardness. Phones buzzed, the airport reopening, but delays stacked like dominoes. One more night, he said, relief in his tone. Or was it something else? We ventured out mid-morning, umbrellas in hand, to the corner bodega for supplies. The streets were rivers, but alive, vendors hawking hot pretzels, cabs splashing past. His arm looped my waist to steady me over a puddle, and time stuttered. Careful, he said, thumb brushing my hip. Back home, we unloaded groceries, shoulders brushing in the narrow kitchen. Wine opened, a bold cab from his cellar, and we cooked together, pasta bubbling, sauce simmering with garlic and regret. Over dinner, by candlelight again, the dam broke. Michael, he started. Fork paused. Last night. That felt right. Real. My fork clattered. Yeah. Hope surged. Treacherous. He reached across, hand covering mine, warm. Sure. I've been fighting it. The job. The image. But you. You make me want to stop. His eyes searched mine, whiskey brown and earnest. I leaned in, breath mingling, and our lips met soft, tentative, then deepening like the storm outside. Fireworks in my veins, his hand cupping my jaw, pulling me closer. It was everything, tender, urgent, a confession in motion. We broke apart, foreheads touching, breaths ragged. Is this crazy? He whispered. Only if we let it be, I replied, tracing his lip. The kiss lingered in echoes as we cleared plates, bodies orbiting like planets on collision. Later, on the couch, he pulled me close, arms a fortress. Stories flowed, his first love, a college fumbling with a frat brother, buried under layers of denial. My own heartbreaks, the ex who left for normalcy, laughter mingled with tears, the raw unraveling of souls. But as midnight tolled, his phone lit the dark, a text, innocuous, from an assistant. He glanced, stiffened. Everything okay? I asked. Yeah, he said too quick, pocketing it. The shift was subtle, a cloud crossing the moon. I pushed it down, curling into him, his heartbeat a lullaby. Hope whispered sweet nothings, blind to the gathering shadows. The next day dawned clearer, skies bruising purple but calm. We packed slow, stealing kisses in the kitchen, hands lingering on zippers. Chicago feels a world away, he said, sealing his bag. At the airport, delays mounted, mechanical issues, they said. Stranded again, but this time in terminals of fluorescent hum. We found a quiet gate, heads together over coffee, planning weekend hikes, perhaps, or just quiet nights. His fingers laced mine under the armrest, secret and sure. Then, the call came. His phone rang sharp, the client, rescheduling. But his face drained as he listened, nodding terse. Understood. He hung up, eyes distant. What's wrong? Pressed. Nothing. Just complications. The lie tasted bitter. That night, in a sterile airport hotel, our flights pushed to morning, the magic frayed. He was quieter, checking his phone more, excuses piling like luggage. I lay awake beside him, his back a wall, wondering if storms ever truly pass. The airport hotel was a far cry from his penthouse, thin walls echoing with distant coughs and cart rumbles, the bed sagging under threadbare sheets. Brandon tossed beside me, phone glowing blue against his chest, illuminating snippets of texts I pretended not to see. Go back to sleep, he murmured when I stirred, but his voice was edged, distant. I feigned it, shut, mind racing. What had changed in those hours? The kisses from yesterday morning felt like echoes now, fading against the hum of the AC. Dawn broke with announcements crackling overhead. Flights boarding. But ours delayed again. A ripple from the storm's tail. We grabbed stale bagels from the lobby, sitting at a wobbly table by the window, watching planes taxi through lingering mist. Talk to me, I said finally, setting down my coffee. He sighed, rubbing his temples. It's the deal. The client's pulling back, cold feet after the weather scare. I need to smooth it, lies layered thin. But I nodded, letting it slide, because hope is a gambler, doubling down on scraps. The day blurred into waiting, charging phones, scrolling news of flooded subways and power outages upstate. He paced, calls stacking, his voice shifting from velvet to steel, the CEO mask slipping back on. I watched from the vinyl armchair, the analyst in me piecing fragments, the way his jaw tightened at home office mentions, the deleted notifications flickering before vanishing. By afternoon, boredom drove us to the lounge, a dim bar where businessmen nursed hangovers. Beers arrived cold, condensation beating like sweat. Remember that time in Denver? He said, clinking bottles, a ghost of a smile. The conference where we'd closed the mining contract, celebrating with wings and wings, hot sauce burning our tongues, laughter till last call. You saved my ass on that risk assessment. I shrugged, warmth blooming. Team effort. His foot nudged mine under the table. Deliberate now. A tether. Conversation flowed easy again. Dreams deferred, like his abandoned novel from Wharton days, or my sketches of Midwestern barns, hidden in desk drawers. Show me sometime, he said, eyes lighting. I'd like that. Emboldened, I dared the question. Last night. You seemed off, he stilled, bottle midway. Just stress. This job it devours. But his gaze skittered, and doubt crept in, a chill wind. We finished drinks, retreating to the room, where tension coiled like a spring. He kissed me then, fierce, hands framing my face, as if to erase the fracture. I melted into it, desperate for the illusion, bodies pressing close but stopping at the edge, respect, restraint, the unwritten rules of this fragile thing. Evening brought news. Our flight canceled outright, rerouted for tomorrow night. "Screw it," he declared. "Let's make it count." We cabbed into the city, the storm's remnants a misty veil over Times Square's blaze. Neon assaulted us, billboards hawking dreams in bold strokes, and we wandered, hands brushing in crowds, anonymous in the throng. A street musician strummed Dylan under an awning, tangled up in blue weaving through the drizzle. Brandon pulled me close, swaying offbeat, his breath warm on my ear. "This you and me. It's the untangled part I've been missing." Dinner at a hole-in-the-wall Italian joint in Hell's Kitchen. Candles flickering in Chianti bottles. Plates of carbonara steaming between us. He opened up, fork twirling pasta like confessions. "After the divorce," I swore off. "Complications. Built walls higher than this skyline." His ex, a Wall Street shark named Laura, ambitious but brittle, their union more merger than marriage. She wanted the life, the Hamptons, the headlines. I wanted quiet. My hand found his across the tablecloth. Quiet's underrated. Our eyes locked, the din fading to a hum. Back at the hotel, buzzed on Chianti and city magic. We tumbled into bed, kisses trailing fire, necks, collarbones, pauses heavy with unspoken promises. "I don't want to lose this," he whispered, forehead to mine. "Me neither." Sleep claimed us tangled, limbs a map of maybes. But morning's light revealed the thief. His side empty, phone clutched like a lifeline. A text glowed, "Miss you. Home safe. From L." Heart plummeted. He returned from the bathroom, towel-drying hair, oblivious. "Showers free." I nodded, water scalding as I pieced it. L for Laura? Rumors of reconciliation, whispered in holiday parties. Hope curdled to dread. Over checkout coffee. He was all plans. "Chicago next weekend? Your place?" I forced a smile. "Count on it." The cab to LaGuardia was silent, his hand on my thigh a question mark. Boarding was chaos, harried agents, gate agents barking zones. We settled in seats, window and aisle, knees touching in the narrow row. Takeoff punched through clouds, Manhattan shrinking below like a discarded sketch. "To new beginnings." He toasted with a water cup, winking. Clinked, throat tight. Mid-flight, turbulence jostled us, his hand gripping mine white-knuckled. "Scared of flying?" I teased. "Scared of crashing," he replied, serious. "And missing what's below." O'Hare loomed, a beacon of home. But as we deplaned, his phone erupted, urgent tones, voicemails stacking. Face ashen, he stepped aside, voice low and clipped. I waited, bags slung heavy. "Everything all right?" "Family emergency," he said, evasive. "Gotta run. See you Monday?" A hug, brief, perfunctory. Then he was gone, swallowed by the crowd, leaving me adrift in fluorescent limbo. Monday's office was a minefield. Emails pinged, project updates, but his inbox silent. By lunch, whispers swirled. Brandon spotted at a gala Friday night, arm in arm with Laura, diamonds glinting like lies. My stomach nodded. I cornered him in the break room, door half shut. "What's going on?" he sighed, coffee steaming. "Michael, it's complicated. She's back, we talked over the weekend." Trying again. Betrayal, sharp as glass. "And us?" My voice cracked. "A mistake." The storm, it blurred lines. Lines he'd drawn himself. I reeled, desk a blur through stinging eyes. Hope's danger crystallized. It builds castles on sand. Afternoon blurred into numb productivity. Numbers a shield. He avoided my gaze in the hall. Nods curt. Quitting time came merciful. Streets slick with meltwater. Home was sanctuary. Cat curling on my lap. Indie folk on the stereo crooning loss. But sleep evaded, replaying his words. Mistake. The thief had stolen more than hope, trust, whole. Weeks ground on a grind of avoidance. Projects assigned through intermediaries. His office door a perpetual barrier. I threw myself into work. Late nights birthing reports that earned nods from VPs. But hollow. Friends noticed. Beers at the local. Prying gently. Boss drama. Something like that. Laughter forced. Pain bottled. One night. Scrolling X, formerly Twitter. His handle popped. Photo from a fundraiser. Laura on his arm. Caption second chances. Knife twist. Unfollowed. Blocked. Heart armored. Spring thawed Chicago. Cherry blossoms rioting pink along the lakefront. I ran miles. Lungs burning. Outpacing ghosts. Dates flickered. A barista with kind eyes. A graphic designer with tattoos like stories, but none stuck. Shadows of brown eyes haunting. Work promotion whispered. A transfer to the New York office. Tempting escape. But roots ran deep. Family in Indiana. The city that shaped my grit. Then, the email, "Michael, need you on the Hudson follow-up. NYC. 2 days. B. Dread and thrill ward." I typed yes, fingers trembling. The plane touched down in LaGuardia under blue skies. No storms in sight. He met me at baggage. Suit crisp. Smile tentative. "Good to see you." Handshake formal. But his eyes lingered. Regret? The hotel was midtown sleek. My room adjoining his. Dinner meeting with clients. But after, over drinks in the lobby bar, the air thickened. The client dinner was a masterclass in deflection. Brandon at the head of the table. Charming anecdotes flowing like vintage Bordeaux. While I sat silent, forking salmon, the Hudson projections a lifeline. Laughter rippled around linen-draped tables, crystal chiming, but my world tunneled to him. The way his cufflinks caught the light, the subtle flex of his jaw when he dodged personal probes. "Michael's the numbers wizard," he said, gesturing my way. Eyes meeting brief, electric, apologetic. I nodded, throat dry, the room's warmth suffocating. After, as plates cleared and goodbyes exchanged, he caught my elbow in the lobby. "Walk with me." The night was crisp, Manhattan's pulse thrumming underfoot, taxis hissing, laughter spilling from doorways. We headed toward Central Park, leaves rustling gold under street lamps. Silence stretched, companionable at first, then heavy. "I've been an ass," he said finally, hands shoved deep in pockets. "That weekend. It wasn't a mistake." I panicked. My step faltered. "Panicked why?" He stopped under a sycamore. bark peeling like old skin. Laura, she's safe. Predictable. You're the unknown. Terrifying. Words I'd longed for, now laced bitter. You could have said that then. I know. His voice cracked, hand raking hair. Divorce left scars, trust shredded. Then you, crashing in like a goddamn revelation. I ran because I felt it. Michael. Deep, the park loomed, paths winding dark. We walked on, confessions unraveling, his therapy sessions post-split. The closet he'd cracked open only to slam shut. My own fears, the internalized whispers that love like ours was borrowed time. It's not, he said fierce. Not if we fight for it. We paused at the Bethesda fountain. Angel wings arched above still water. He turned to me, face shadowed. Give me a chance to fix this. Hope flickered, wary. His hand found mine, fingers lacing tentative. One step, the kiss that followed was slow, redemptive, lips brushing, then claiming, Parks hush our witness. Fire rekindled, tempered now by caution. We broke apart, breaths mingling. Your hotel's close, I murmured. He nodded, hail cab. Back in my room, adjoining door ajar. His side dim, we shed coats, shoes, pretenses. No rush, just exploration. Hands mapping shoulders, necks, the curve of a spine. Whispers wove, I've missed this, me too. Bodies aligning in quiet symphony. Sleep came deep, his arm draped heavy, heartbeat a steady drum. Morning light filtered through blinds, coffee brewing in the machine. He stirred, smiling lazy. Room service, over eggs Benedict. Plans hatched. The follow-up pitch refined, but laced with us. A weekend in the Catskills, perhaps. Leaves turning fire. Workday flew. Synergy crackling in the conference room. Our glances loaded secrets. Clients signed off. Handshakes sealing triumph. Evening found us at his village penthouse again. No storm this time, just city hum. Wine poured. Dinner scavenged from the fridge, prosciutto and figs. Simple decadence. On the couch, stories deepened. His father's steel mill grit. The unspoken queerness buried in Bible Belt soil. My mother's quiet acceptance. Dad's gruff be happy. Kid. Laughter bridged gaps. Tears salting rims. You're my North Star, he said. Thumb tracing my knuckles. Steady in the shitstorm. I pulled him close. Kiss sealing vows unspoken. But cracks spidered. His phone buzzed insistent. Laura's name flashing. He silenced it, jaw tight. Ignore. Can't forever. I pressed gentle. He sighed, setting glass down. She's pushing reconciliation for the optics, the network. Board loves the power couple narrative. Betrayal's echo, fresh wound. And you, it's over. But she won't let go easy. I nodded, swallowing doubt. Hope's gambler rolling dice again. Night deepened, bodies entwining tender, affirming, boundaries respected in the dance. Dawn brought resolve. We'll face it together. Flights home seamless. His hand in mine till security. Chicago welcomed gray, but warmer now. Texts pinging constant. Voice memos laced affection. Office life shifted subtle. Nods warmer. Coffee runs shared. Whispers quelled, but eyes lingered. Then, the bomb. Company retreat announced. Aspen in 2 weeks, team building. Slopes, enforced camaraderie. Come with, he urged over encrypted chat. As what? As you. Us. Heart soared. Plans sketched. Fireside chats. Powder days. Aspen arrived crisp. Peaks dusted sugar. Lodge was rustic luxe. Stone fireplaces roaring. Pine scent thick. Team mingled. But we carved space. Morning runs along trails. Breaths clouding. Evenings. Après-ski beers by the bar. His knee pressed mine under tables. One night, after a glühwein toast, we slipped away to the hot tub, steam rising like ghosts. Stars wheeled overhead, water bubbling hot. This is it, he said, hand on my thigh underwater. No more hiding, kiss in the mist, world dissolving. But retreat's underbelly stirred, colleagues' sidelong glances, a VP's pointed joke about bromance, paranoia crept. Then, the text, anonymous, to the team list. Photo grainy, us in the park, hands linked. Apex's golden boy has a secret, panic rippled. Brandon's face paled at the morning briefing, phone clutched. Damage control, he muttered to me aside. But eyes betrayed fear, career, reputation, the empire teetering. Confrontation came in his suite, door locked. Who sent it? I demanded. Doesn't matter. It's out. His voice broke. Laura, she must have tailed us. Betrayal doubled. Venomous. You said it was over. It is. But she's vicious. Leverage for the settlement. Rage boiled. And I'm collateral? He reached. Desperate. No, you're everything. We'll spin it. Deny us. Heart shattered anew. I won't be your ghost. I stormed out, trails blurring through tears. Aspen spun cold, isolation biting. Team eyes followed, whispers like snow crunching. Flight home solo, his texts unread. Please, promises. Chicago's chill deepened, apartment a tomb. Work emails formal, my reports impeccable but soulless. Promotion offer landed, New York. Ironic twist. Tempted, but pride anchored. Weeks later, the boardroom showdown. Leak traced to Laura's PI. Settlement demands skyrocketing. Brandon fought public. Press release vague. Personal matters. But private calls came. Come back. Please. Voice raw. I hung up, each time harder. Hope's danger. It lures you to the edge, then shoves. Spring bloomed defiant. Lakefront walks my therapy. A new project, pro bono for a queer youth center, reignited fire. Numbers serving purpose. Friends rallied. Blind dates sparked tentative. Then, his email. Resigned today. Starting fresh, my terms. Shock rippled. Follow-up. Meet, coffee, neutral ground. The cafe was Lincoln Park neutral, exposed brick. Indie brews. He arrived disheveled, beard shadowing jaw, eyes haunted. It's done. Apex. Her all torched, coffee steamed untouched. Why? Because hiding you was killing me. Us. Tears welled his. I love you, Michael. Stupid. Late, but true. The word hung. Thunderclap. Hope. Battered. Stirred. We talked for hours in that cafe. The world narrowing to scarred wooden tables and the hiss of the espresso machine. Brandon's hands trembled around his mug. Knuckles white. The man who'd commanded boardrooms now adrift. Unmoored. After the leak, the board pressured, clean image or clean out. I chose truth. His laugh was bitter, hollow. Turns out, integrity's a luxury. I listened, walls cracking, anger yielding to the raw ache in his voice, the lines etched deeper around his eyes. And Laura, cut off. Lawyers handling the fallout. She's poison. Always was. Outside, autumn leaves skittered like fleeing secrets. Chicago's wind off the lake whipping scarves. We walked the path along the water, shoulders brushing tentative. Stories poured, his quiet resignation speech, the stunned silence in the C-suite, my pro bono dives, the kids' faces lighting at data that proved their futures viable. You're building ladders, he said soft, echoing our storm-trapped night. Hands slipped into mine, natural as breath. Hope, cautious, unfurled a petal. Dinners followed, tentative, at corner bistros where jazz murmured low. He was between gigs, consulting freelance. The freedom a double-edged sword, liberating days of hikes in the Indiana dunes, shadowed by uncertainty. What now? He'd ask over pad thai, chopsticks pausing. I'd reply, simple. Kisses goodbye lingered at doors, promises in the press. Winter crept, first snow dusting the city like powdered sugar on regret. His new venture brewed, a startup for ethical urban dev, green spaces for underserved hoods. Your numbers could make it sing, he pitched one night, fire crackling in my apartment's hearth. I crunched prelims, projections gleaming. It's solid, his grin, boyish, lit the room. Partnership bloomed. Late nights at his temp loft in Pilsen. Murals splashing color on white walls. Laptops humming duets. But shadows lingered. Holiday party season stirred ghosts. Invites declined. Whispers from old colleagues. One eve, over mulled wine at a Bucktown bar, his ex's name surfaced. She called threats veiled, about the settlement dragging, jaw clenched. Ignore, I urged, but doubt gnawed. Hope's peril, it blinds to the undertow. Christmas Eve found us at my folks' in Bloomington nerve-wracking debut. Mom's hug enveloped him warm, apple pie steaming, Dad's handshake firm. Heard good things, stories swapped by the tree, lights twinkling like approvals. His gift to me, a leather-bound notebook, for your barns, inscribed. Mine, a compass, North Stars need guides, midnight mass, candles flickering, his hand in mine under pews, sacred, unspoken. New Year dawned crisp, resolutions whispered at midnight, transparency, always. His startup launched modest, seed funding from indie investors, office a co-op in Wicker Park. I jumped ship from Apex, the promotion dust, joining as ops lead. Synergy Electric, his vision, my metrics, birthing plans for community gardens in Englewood, affordable housing threads. Spring thaws brought trials. First investor pitch, sharks circling, questions barbed on lifestyle risks. Brandon's poise held, but post-meeting, in the alley behind the venue, he shattered, fists against brick. They see us as liabilities. I pulled him close, rain starting soft. Then we prove them wrong. Kiss in the downpour, defiant. Summer simmered, success stacking. First project broke ground. A playground rising in a forgotten lot. Kids' laughter soon to echo. Vacations dotted road trip to the Smokies. Tents pitched under stars. Campfires crackling confessions. "You saved me," he said one night, embers glowing. "From myself." "Team effort," I echoed, head on his chest. But autumn winds carried omens. Laura resurfaced. Tabloid blurb. Jilted heiress seeks justice. Photos grainy of court docs. Demands escalated. Assets. Alimony hiked on emotional distress. His sleep frayed. Nights pacing the loft. "It's revenge," he confided, voice hollow. "For leaving. For you." I held him, but cracks widened. Arguments flaring over lawyer bills. His withdrawal sharpening. Climax brewed in October. A gale off Lake Michigan mirroring the one that started it all. Investor gala at the Art Institute. Chandeliers dripping light. Gowns swirling. We arrived arm in arm. First public outing. Heads high. Toasts rang. Deals whispered. Then, she appeared. Laura. Crimson gown like blood. Entourage in tow. "Darling," she purred, air kissing his cheek. Eyes daggers at me. "Missed you at the benefit." Tension crackled. Brandon stiffened, arm tightening on mine. "Laura." Polite venom. She leaned in, voice silk over steel. "Heard about your little venture. Charming. But leverage is a bitch." Words slurred wine sweet, but intent clear. The leak, the sabotage, all her strings. Whispers rippled. Phones emerged. Recording subtle. He snapped then, voice low thunder. "Game's over. Sign the papers. Move on." Her laugh tinkled glass. "Or what? Your boy's career tanks too." Betrayal unveiled. Public now, flashes popping, murmurs swelling. I froze, world tilting. "Enough," I said, stepping forward. "This ends tonight." Her gaze raked me, dismissal pure. "Sweetie, you're the punchline." Chaos erupted. Security summoned. Gala fracturing. Outside, rain lashed the lion gates. Cabs scarce. We huddled under awning, soaked quick. "I'm sorry," he choked, face buried in my shoulder. Her poison, it's everywhere. Rage ward pity. Fight it. Us. Cab arrived. Doors slamming like judgments. Home was war zone. Calls from backers. Emails venomous. He paced. Phone to ear lawyers. PR spins. "Pull out," one advised. "Image issue." He hurled the device. Shattering screen. "No!" Collapse followed on the rug. Sobs racking. I knelt. Arms fortress. "We'll weather it." But dawn brought ultimatums. Investors fleeing. Projects stalled. November grade. Fallout deepening. Media frenzy. Scandal sinks startup. Headlines screamed. Board what remained demanded distance. For the brand. He refused. But toll mounted. Gray hairs threading. Smiles strained. Our nights turned vigilant. Takeout cold. Talks circling drains. "Maybe space," he suggested one eve. Eyes averted. Heart seized. "Running again? Protecting you." Hope's blade twisted deepest here. The love that built, now dismantling. I pushed back. Fierce. Together or not at all. Standoff stretched days. Silence a chasm. Then, the call. Laura's settlement signed. Gag order clamped. But damage viral. A lifeline emerged, queer advocacy group. Offering platform. Interview. Our story unvarnished. Risky. he hedged. Revolutionary, I countered. Decision teetered. Thanksgiving loomed. Family gatherings a minefield. We drove to Indiana, tension thick as turkey gravy. Mom's table bridged, stories of resilience. Dad's quiet, proud of you boys. Laughter tentative, but real. Return trip, resolve hardened. The interview, yes. December's chill bit, but action warmed. Studio lights hot. Mics poised. We sat side by side, hands clasped below frame. Questions probe gentle. The leak, the love, the fight. Brandon's voice steady. Hiding wasn't living. Michael's my anchor in boardrooms. In this, tears mine, unspoken. Airwaves carried it. Ripples spreading, support flooding inboxes. Allies emerging. But climax crested New Year's Eve. Gala redux, our gala. Small scale at a Logan Square warehouse. Rainbow flags fluttering. Backers returned. Tentative. Press invited. Ethical only. Snow fell soft outside. Inside warmth bloomed. Toasts to reinvention. Dances swaying slow. Laura's shadow loomed. Subpoena hinting countersuit. But we stood unbowed. Midnight neared. Countdown building. His arm around me. Whisper hot. Here's to dangerous hope. Ball dropped virtual. Cheers erupting. Kiss amid confetti. World anew. The new year unfolded like a tentative bloom. Petals unfurling against winter's bite. The interview aired wide, podcasts clipping our sound bites. X threads weaving solidarity. Hashtags trending love unleashed. Skeptics sneered. But allies amplified. Queer orgs donating pro bono legal. Indie investors doubling down on the startup. Brandon's step lightened. Grays seeming fewer in morning light. We're bulletproof, he'd say over breakfast burritos. Kissing my temple. The loft alive with blueprints and ambition. Projects revived. The Englewood Playground ribbon cut in February. Kids whooping on slides named Hayes Ellis Loop. A nod sly. Media shifted. Profiles in Out and The Advocate. From corporate closet to community champions. Exhausting. Exhilarating photo ops in hard hats. Panels on inclusive dev. Nights collapsed into each other. Bodies weary but grateful. Whispers of thank you in the dark. Spring surged. Cherry blossoms rioting along Milwaukee Avenue. We escaped to Door County. Cabin on the bay. Waves lapping like applause. Days kayaking emerald waters. Eves grilling perch over driftwood fires. This is the quiet I chased, he said. Head on my lap. Stars pricking the sky. Stories drifted. His Wharton regrets. The novel he'd dust off. My barn sketches, now framed on our walls. Write it, I urged. Build it. Pen met page that week. Chapters spilling tentative. But scars itched. Laura's countersuit dragged. Depositions dredging dirt. Old emails twisted. Our park kiss dissected in legalese. One April afternoon. Courthouse steps slick with rain. Her lawyers ambushed. Mr. Hayes. Comment on the affair. Flashes blinded. He gripped my hand. Voice steel. No affair, love. And it's private. Headlines twisted anyway. Ex-wife's revenge. Gay scandal explodes. Trolls swarm socials. Slurs slicing deep. Doubt resurfaced. Insidious. Late nights. He'd scroll venom. Jaw grinding. Worth it, he'd mutter. I pull him close. Fierce. Every scar. Therapy joined our rhythm. couple sessions in a Wicker Park brownstone, unpacking closets cracked wide. Vulnerability's the bridge, our counselor said, and we walked it, hand in hand. Summer baked the city, lakefronts mobbed. Startup scaled. Second site in Uptown. Housing pods for LGBTQ plus youth aging out foster. Groundbreaking drew crowds. Pals in suits. Activists with signs. Us in the dirt. Shovels biting earth. Brandon's speech rang true. This isn't charity, it's justice. Hope, built brick by brick. Applause thundered, my chest swelling pride. Vacation called Amtrak to NYC, his old haunt reclaimed. We wandered village streets, hand in hand open, past the brownstone that birthed us. Broadway tickets, rent, echoes of struggle singing home. Rooftop bar toast, to storms survived, his eyes, whiskey warm, promised forever. Fall painted gold, harvest moon rising. Novel draft complete, his rungs in the rain, semi-auto, our story veiled. Query letters sent, rejections soft but agents nibbling. Mine, exhibit at a small gallery, barns rendered vivid, red ribbons dangling. Opening night, his arm proud, my artist's real, Thanksgiving circled back. Families merged, his sis from Philly, tales of coal country grit, my folks beaming over pie. Laughter full, no ghosts at table. Winter whispered early snows, holidays planned, cabin again, trees felled for our first. But climax echoed in December, not gale, but gale-force truth. Court final. Laura's suit dismissed, her tactics backfiring. Settlement sealed quiet. She vanished public, whispers of therapy her own. Closure, bittersweet. That night, loft aglow candles. He knelt, not proposal, but vow, I choose you. Every storm, ring simple, silver band etched with a green light. Gatsby nod. Yes, I breathed, pulling him up, kiss ceiling. New Year dawned, our second together. Startup thrived, novel agent, life a tapestry woven tight. Storms would come, job dips, family phrase, world's cruelties, but we'd learned hope's edge. Not blind leap, but braced flight. Dangerous, yes, but wings earned in the wind. In the end, trapped no more, we soared, two men, American dream reimagined, love the truest ladder rung.